Hey, viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to So You're Being Hunted. This episode 341. So, last episode, I think it was, wasn't it? We finished up the brute force challenge attempt number 2, so we once again had a little bit of success and all that, which was absolutely awesome. Just what we want to see, just what the doctor ordered, I do think. But now, of course, as usual, I'm sort of having a quick little break now from challenges, just to do some podcast-style episodes as a bit of filler content, don't you worry. Got some good challenge suggestions on the horizon, which is fantastic, so I've got plenty to keep me going in due course. But, like I say, God, geez, getting gas coming up from my cup of tea even before I've really even started all that much. But, yeah, like I say, I'm just going to do some podcast-style episodes again, just as filler in the meantime. Hoping to do at least a couple, maybe get Phil in at some point to do another one, because he's interested in doing one at least. And we'll have a general chat as usual. Now, in particular, I actually had a couple of interesting topics, which I really wanted to talk about. Probably I'll see if I can sort of split these across 2 episodes, because they're kind of distinct in their own right. But for this one, I kind of want to talk about something that I encountered recently here on YouTube, which it's interesting. Let me just kind of tell the story, and you can make of it whatever you want to make of it, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure, obviously, quite a few of you out there have watched TED Talks here on YouTube. That's a channel that's been going for some time. In fact, it has lots of sub-channels. There's TED Talks, like TEDx, TED this, that, and the other. TED Take to Bed with You. TED Gets Red in the Face. I don't. No, I'm just making up that last couple. But in essence, TED Talks with where they get specialists or celebrities in different fields to stand up in front of a lecture hall and just give a talk on something interesting. I mean, I say celebrities; those ones are actually quite rare. For the most part, it is things like scientists and professionals from various fields telling about things like science, innovation, culture, technology, this kind of thing. And there's some really interesting stuff on TED Talks, and so I was watching a load of them actually quite recently, because I've watched various ones before in the past that have been of interest to me, and I was watching some of the popular ones again, just because I sort of like coming back to them. That it's a bit more highbrow than certain things on YouTube. Let's put it that way, and so to give some idea of some of the videos that I was actually watching. I started off with one by a guy called Mark Gallo, which is actually one of the older ones. It's from like 2009, whenever it was originally uploaded. But there was just a short one, about 6 minutes, in which he just talks about deep sea creatures, or just sea creatures in general, from various ocean research projects. So they had some pretty amazing footage of things like cephalopods and octopi, kind of blending in, doing that thing with the pigments in their skin where they can change colour and texture and pattern to mimic their surroundings as a form of camouflage. And that was really fascinating to watch and slightly entertaining as well. I mean, he just had one fantastic shot of an octopus, or rather, it was a shot taken by a diver, and it was like this big sort of clump of seaweed or algae, whatever it was. And at first, you literally cannot see the octopus, but as the diver closes in on this big trail of seaweed, suddenly it's just the octopus is there, right in front of you. It's crazy, because it just appears and then shoots off. Obviously, kind of spooked by the diver appearing and all that. But, that one was interesting to me, because if you've watched a fair few videos on my channel fairly religiously, you will know how much I am fascinated by the ocean and ocean life, stuff like that. I love the ocean. It can be scary, but it can also be beautiful and absolutely wonderful. But it's not the ocean that I really want to talk about in this video. Just kind of sticking with these videos I was watching on TED Talks. So there was another one. I think it was delivered by someone from University of Pennsylvania. What was his name? Was it Vijay Kumar, something like that? A researcher who's particularly interested in whose field of expertise is basically robotics. And that was quite a fascinating one to watch. There's a lot of equations and a lot of mathematical stuff in it, but once you get beyond that, and he starts going into the results of his kind of research in robotics and the potential applications, it's pretty fascinating. Because basically he has lots of like these little tiny quadrotor drones, and he's got them all kind of working together and coordinating on tasks like constructing basic shapes in terms of putting parts together to make a more coherent whole. It's really interesting, kind of the real world applications. And as part of that video with Vijay Kumar, whatever he was called, showing off his robotic potential, one of the things that he was kind of showing his research results on was developing a system by which these little robots can navigate their way around a building that they've never been in before, so that they can kind of map out their surroundings and things like this. And the real world applications of that are pretty fascinating, because of course you could use these things in terms of things like emergency work, or maybe kind of cargo lifting, stuff like that. And it really is incredible to think of where technology is, or it might be going in the near future. But again, that's not really the kind of main subject that I wanted to talk about in relation to all these TED Talks that I've been watching. So, after watching a few of these TED Talks, I came across one by a woman called Mary Roach. Now, some of you may already be familiar with the name, because you may have already watched some TED Talks, and you may have already seen the ones that she gives. And but for anyone who doesn't know, the Mary Roach TED Talk that I watched was 10 things you didn't know about orgasm, ladies and gents. My God, there's actually quite a few TED Talks I've noticed which are all to do with topics around kind of sexuality, psychosexuality and stuff like this. And this Mary Roach one was one of them. And at first, I was thinking, I don't know what to expect from this. But let's just say it's a list of 10 very humorous things about orgasm. Not necessarily to do with human orgasm, let's put it that way. But I must say, Mary Roach has a very, comedic style that she's giving it. It's actually quite funny to watch, that video. And I say it's definitely worth watching, just for the kind of shits and giggles that come out of it. But there is one part of the video which, let's put it this way, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. And so one of the things that I think, if I'm remembering this correctly, that Mary Roach talks about in this talk, is this old idea that doctors back in, I don't know, like the 40s or the 50s, whenever it was, this old idea that doctors had about kind of female sexuality and the female orgasm, and this idea that the more kind of sexually titillated a woman is, the more likely it is that the sperm will apparently... No, that's not it. Sorry, hold on. No, I think I might be misremembering it. No, I think it's something like, back in the sort of 40s and the 50s, there was this idea that when a woman orgasmed, it created this kind of suction effect through the female genitalia that results in more kind of sperm potentially reaching the egg. Something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly, but this is one of those things which, in reference to women's sexuality, is basically rubbish. There's actually no scientific evidence of this happening, and I believe there have been plenty of studies which have, pretty conclusively shown that it's not true. It doesn't happen like that. But now, apparently, I can't remember if one of the next points she then got to was directly following on from this, or if it was something kind of similar. But apparently, pig farmers in Denmark, when they're trying to artificially inseminate sows, apparently they, let's just say, they have this thing about, in order to kind of maximise the potential number of piglets that this sow will give birth to, you have to make sure she is sexually titillated when you artificially inseminate her. It is the weirdest thing, and like I say, once I saw it, I cannot unsee it, because literally during her presentation, Mary Roach shows this video footage of a Danish pig farmer literally trying to sexually... Well, I should stress, it's not as weird as it sounds, but it is still pretty weird. Of a Danish pig farmer basically using various techniques to sexually titillate this sow as he artificially inseminates it, literally with, you know, the plastic pipe that they pipe the pig semen through. It is weird. I mean, it's just like, because the thing is, he goes in there, you know, and he's in his full like lab coat and everything, and then he just like, but he's not even wearing gloves though, and he just starts sticking his hand up this pig's backside, and I just think to myself, oh my god, what are you doing, man? At least wear gloves for fuck's sake. But it just, I don't know. And then he's like he's like sat on top of the sow to kind of try and simulate, or try to simulate the sort of weight that a sow would normally feel on her hindquarters if she was being mated with by a boar. And it's just so ridiculous. You got to watch it for yourself. I'm not doing a very good job describing it, because it's one of those things which you have to just see it for yourself, ladies and gents. And like I say, it's one of those things, once you see it, you will never be able to sort of stop picturing it in your head. It really is quite something, let's put it that way. Oh boy. But yeah, there was that particular video. What a strange video that actually was to actually watch. Oh lordy. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that just because it was such a what the fuck am I watching kind of moment that I had, where I thought, I'm literally watching a video of a woman showing a video of a man with his hand stuck up a pig's arse. Why? Why am I watching this? But don't get me wrong, the video was fascinating overall. Let's put it that way. Just to think about some of the weird-ass things that people used to believe about female sexuality. It's weird. Yeah. Oh boy. Because apparently, here's the thing about pigs, sow pigs, right? Apparently the clitoris is located inside the vulva. You know, this is something, you know, you probably thought you never were going to learn here on the General Red Strategist channel, but nope, you're going to learn it today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. You just got to watch that fucking video. You got to watch it. Search for it. It's just like 10 things you didn't know about orgasms by Mary Roach TED Talks, something like that. But yeah, that really was something, wasn't it? Go and watch it, ladies and gents. I can't really describe how much WTF is actually involved in that, but also how funny it actually is. Yeah, but like I say, you know, there's actually quite a few ones on there about sexuality and stuff like that. There was another one I watched, something about how young women view their own sexuality. I've forgotten who it was who presented that one. But that one was actually kind of interesting and kind of a bit sad in some ways. That's another one maybe worth watching. But yeah, if you're not into that kind of thing though, definitely look for the stuff about science and technology, because that's actually quite fascinating stuff in there. Especially that Vijay Kumar one on the robots. And that's not even a recent one. That's at least from several years ago. So if you think about, that was what Vijay Kumar was working on then. Imagine how much, you know, how many more advances there might have been in the field of robotics since he gave that presentation based on his research that he was conducting at University of Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, technology is always a fascinating subject, isn't it? When you think about where it might go in the future and whatever else. Oh man, who knows, maybe we'll one day have little robots that sexually titillate and artificially inseminate our livestock. Now there's a thought, isn't it? Do you think you'd have that thought when you were watching a General Red Strategist video, ladies and gentlemen? Do you ever have a thought that maybe in the future there'll be little quadrotor robots that fly close to the hindquarters of large fat sows with a little plastic pipe coming out of them that they stick up the sow's jacksie? Oh dear. Now there's a sentence I would never have thought in 100 years that I would ever come out with. It's funny, isn't it? The sort of things you come out with on the fly when a subject of a rather odd subject comes to mind and you just have to talk about it, and suddenly, before you know it, you're talking about robots inseminating pigs with semen. What a direction this video has taken, ladies and gents. What a direction. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other kind of TED Talks and things have I actually viewed before, other ones that are actually kind of interesting. There's interesting ones, you know, by people like John Ronson, stuff like that, about strange answers to the psychopath test, stuff like that, how one tweet can ruin your life, etc., blah blah blah. But, I mean, it is fascinating. I wonder if there's any other channels out there that I can think of, or which might be interesting to me, which have similar things. I mean, obviously in my kind of academic field, you know, I sometimes search for videos on things like international relations and security, and there's plenty of interesting stuff in that regard as well, whether that's put out by academic institutions, or by, you know, things like government agencies, when they're releasing things like strategic documents, visions for the future, stuff like that. All very interesting material. Oh man. But yeah, let me know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Any TED Talks fans out there among you lot? Has anyone seen that video that I'm referring to, that I was talking about? I'm sorry, I keep coming back to that because it was just so weird watching it. So hilarious, and yet at the same time so uncomfortable in a sort of what the hell is going on kind of way. It's just that fucking video of that Danish pig farmer utilising all his weird things. It's just, he looked so happy as he was doing it. I don't know. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I know probably a fair few of you listening to what I'm talking about here are there's probably one question on your minds here as you watch this video, and that is, this Danish pig farmer, he was wearing clothes, right? Yes, he was. He was fully clothed. Don't you worry, okay? Before you start getting weird ideas about what may or may not have happened in that video. But God, it's just so weird. It doesn't stop it being weird. Go watch it. Just go watch it. Seriously. Before you, you know, wrap up your day. Before you go and do anything else. Just go and watch that friggin' TED Talk video. Can't really say anything else. It's just one of those things, like I say, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That's probably going to be the title of the video. Something like, cannot unsee, or something. Because I think that'll be a, you know, good title for the video without spoiling the actual subject matter or whatever else have you. Oh boy. So that probably actually takes the award then for most out there topic of conversation ever discussed in a General Red Strategist So You're Being Hunted video. Let's be brutally honest, you know, if there was an award for that. Maybe I should do that as a video sometime. The General Red Strategist Awards. The award for most watched video. The award for weirdest video. Award for most liked video. Things like that. I don't know. Maybe not. I've no idea. Oh good lord. Oh good lordy Lou. What a direction this took, eh, ladies and gents. I've actually lost track of how long I've been recording for here. Sorry, I got so carried away talking about what I'd seen. I just wasn't paying attention to the clock at all. Dearie me. But having said that, actually, now that I think about it, that's not the first video I've ever seen of an animal being artificially inseminated. I'm sorry, we're going to stick with this topic for just a little bit longer. Now that I think about it, I remember a video that I'm pretty sure I saw in high school. And I'm pretty sure this wasn't some video that some person, some fellow student just saw, hey Andrew, watch this, it's funny. No, this is actually a video we got showed in a class one time. I'm pretty sure it was probably, my first thought, was it a science class? But actually now that I think about it, I don't think it was a science class. I think it was a geography class. We were doing something about, oh bloody hell, my bloody coaster on my cup of tea is actually stuck to the bottom of it because tea dribbling down the side. Flipping heck. But no, I think it was a geography class actually where we saw this. We were doing something, I think, to do with Brazil. I think it was many years ago. This, so my memory is a bit hazy. But yeah, I think it was something to do with Brazil, and of course, a big sort of topic in geography with Brazil is, of course, about, you know, deforestation to make way for beef ranching and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, it was something to do with kind of ranching in Brazil, and something to do with, I think, making ensuring kind of good breeding stocks of cows and cattle or something. And yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure there was a scene in there where they showed a cow being artificially inseminated. It was like a cow, it wandered into this pen, but there was like these big cow-sized clamp things that literally shut around its body. And then you just see the dude coming in from behind with what is essentially like a giant freaking injector syringe thing, sticks it up the cow's arse, and that's it. It's like, Jesus. So yeah, not the first time I've witnessed a cow being, not a cow, sorry, but, you know, some form of livestock being artificially inseminated on a video. Oh dear. Oh. You know, that could probably be a whole interesting topic of conversation in its own right, couldn't it? Videos you got showed in school lessons, including weird as fuck ones. There's probably more than a few. In fact, you know what? I'm going to make that a topic of conversation for a future Sir episode. I wasn't planning on doing that. That's kind of a spur of the moment one. But I think that would actually make for quite an entertaining podcast style Sir episode. That would. Okay, yeah, I'm going to bear that in mind, because I think we'll do that. Maybe I should... You see, I was planning on recording 2 episodes this recording session. Now I'm tempted to do 3. Just 3 podcast style episodes. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. Okay, well, tell you what, since I've probably been recording for at least 10 or 15 minutes there, I think that's probably round about the good number for an episode, for a podcast style episode, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoyed that really weird conversation that we just had about a TEDx talk, not a TEDx talk, sorry, just a TED talk by Mary Roach. I think I think that's enough said about that. So Facebook and Twitter links down below, along with a link to my propagandist channel, etc, etc. You all know the drill by now. Other than that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you for some more podcast style discussion in the next episode, everybody. Goodbye all. Go! God, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it! Yeah. Oh lord, no, 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 no. Holy crap, this area's horrible. Oh my god, I'm being shot to fucking pieces! Ah! Oh my, what the fuck? Holy shit. Holy fucking shit! Okay, this is going to be a nasty area. I can tell from the get-go. Right. Okay. Give me fucking rifle. No, no, you don't. This is a bad weapon. Oh my god, he's taking my health right down. Okay, get that out. Maybe we should use this for sniping.